Hey everyone, La Plata Peak back here on my the floor of my bedroom closet. Just bringing another video, and pretty excited today to show this to you here. So this last piece, actually probably be the first piece I show here, but this silver arrived today in the mail. It is Saturday, September 19th. And the last video I did showed how I had traded in some 100-ounce bars for some gold. And actually, out of those maple leafs, there were 3 of them that I showed. I only still own one of them. I actually sold 2, and I've bought a few things that I think are going to need to be essential here up in the coming months. Basically just some extra food, some extra supplies, a couple firearms. Maybe I'll show those as well. Kind of have some thoughts on what's probably going to be happening with our Second Amendment rights here coming in the next few years as things change. But with one of those pieces of gold, I actually secured about 16 pieces of silver here, and actually 2 of them out of this. 2 of those 16 pieces are sitting in front of you. One of them is not. I'd previously owned it, but the 16 pieces included 14 of the proof rounds from the Silver Shield that were released in 2015. And just kind of give you some background. I know I've brought up Silver Shield and Chris Dwayne and things like that on some previous videos, but just to kind of give you an overview. And there are a lot of videos on about Chris Dwayne on YouTube. He's got his own channel called The Greatest Truth Never Told, which I highly suggest you subscribe to. A lot of good information on there, and I don't obviously agree with 100% of what Chris Dwayne thinks, but I don't agree with 100% of what anybody thinks, really. So I would say I'm probably in the 90, 93, 94% of what Chris Dwayne thinks, and that's quite a bit, obviously. So I think he's coming from a place of honesty. I believe he believes what he's saying, which is more than I can say for anybody running for office these days. And whether he's correct or not in his thinking, most of that's not really for me to judge. That's a lot of it's his opinion, and whatever opinions he puts out there, he backs up with facts, as much as he can. But this particular, line that came out in 2015 was, pretty small. So there is a group that he kind of moderates, I would say. It's called the Silver Shield Group. And, there's, a very small fee that its members pay per month. I want to say it's like $7 per month. And what you get out of the Silver Shield Group is you get access to the forum, which there's some thought-provoking, probably more thought-provoking discussions in that forum than any other online forum. And I don't know if it's the $7 that keeps out just anybody from coming in, but you also get access to purchase rounds just dedicated for the Silver Shield Group. And since there is a limited membership in the Silver Shield Group, these rounds are also going to be somewhat limited. There are folks on eBay that do have eBay stores that are members of this group that will go ahead and make some extra purchases from their eBay stores, and then they will just turn around and purchase whatever rounds there are from Chris Dwayne's store. That is this is the Silver Shield organization, or Silver Shield company, I should say. And they they work with a Golden State Mint, and they take their orders 4 to 6 weeks ahead of time. They only make what is ordered, so there's no surplus overrun. And what you have out of that is some of these rounds go up in value quite a bit. So a lot of my stacking these days just comes from purchasing the the proof rounds from that group, and then some of them go up, some of them don't. Some of them go up a little bit, probably at least $10, just because they are somewhat limited, but you just never know. And I think in future videos I'll show a couple that when they, even for like a year or two after they came out, they I probably could have made back, maybe broke even on eBay, but now they're going for quite a few $100s, and maybe just go up in the future, just depending on what happens. But getting back to this group here, 2015, they released basically a collection, what he called the Pyramid of Power, and through this collection, he just kind of goes through all of the aspects of what he considers we, or they. So all of these start with the pronoun we, and it's basically the people in charge. Whether that's you're looking at as the government, or the Federal Reserve, or the banking class, or the corporations, or the unions, or all these different powers that are in the world today. Really, just kind of if you when you break them down, as this collection has done, you really kind of see that it's all directed through the same agenda, and the what their ultimate goal, as the name suggests, Pyramid of Power, is just that, power over the individual. I heard a quote from George Orwell today, that power isn't a means to an end, it is the end. That was a quote. That's it, and it just gets down to that simple. But the reason why this particular round here is so special is that there were only 160 released to the public. I'll show the certificate of authenticity for the round here, and it does say 260, but the first 100 never get released to the public. I don't know if Chris Twain just kind of keeps those in his vault, or if he plans at selling those that are massively high premium in the future, or what happens to those rounds. But what I do know is that out of all these Silver Shield collections, whether they're BU or proof, that only those first 100 are basically not available. So the only the certificates of authenticity above 100 are the ones that are actually out in circulation. And this one here is the original reverse proof of "We Indoctrinate You." And one thing that the Silver Shield will always, it's kind of its message, is the debt and death paradigm that it sees as being in charge, and basically is they basically are spreading both of those through each of these facets of society, or these portions of power over society. And here obviously this is a school teacher with a ruler, and on the chalkboard behind her kind of looks like, I don't know, Norman Bates' mom, for lack of a better description. But do as you're told and don't ask questions, and this, I'm in my early 40s, and this was going on in school when I was in grammar school. We were, probably not to the extent of today, but when I was in grammar school, we would have something called the Weekly Reader that we would go through. And this was a publication that I think most schools kind of at the time had. But, the stories were always about how, the environment was going to be, I remember stories, and this was like in the 80s, how the environment was going to be, totally decimated and unlivable by the year 2000. And, and then I got into high school in the mid 90s, and Al Gore came out with his movie, and we were forced to watch that, and it was by 2007, 2008, the world, we're going to have global warming is going to just destroy the planet. And global warming is just an example. There's many aspects of indoctrination. It's basically, you have to think a certain way. You have to follow. So the teachers, for example, by and large, are, and I'm going to be, full disclosure here, I have very close members of my family, and very many close friends that are in the teaching profession. And I think most teachers want to do what's best for children and want to help them in the best way they can in learning. But the fact of the matter is the people that are at the, I guess, at the head of those unions and the heads of these districts, they do not share that same mentality. they're basically, they want to groom people that are going to want to be taken care of, and in exchange for that care, they want to basically just stay in power. It's very rare that you will go to a school board meeting and hear people that are really talking about anything that sounds inspired or thought provoking. It's I think a lot of these school board meetings are kept boring on purpose, just so people don't go to them and don't see what's going on. But my experience today and just talking with family members and friends of what's going on, it is total indoctrination. If there's you have to think a certain way, and if you don't, you are ostracized, you are suspended. If you so much, getting back to the Second Amendment, if you so as much as show up to school with anything resembling a firearm, it doesn't even have to be in a threatening way. I could if I sent my kid to school in a T-shirt that said "I love Glock," just as a brand, or "I love Sig Sauer," or Smith and Wesson, it's very likely. I would say 99% certainty that kid would not just be sent home, but would probably be suspended from school for the day, and what or for maybe even for a week, and it would be on the precipice of violence. That's a violent shirt. That's inspiring violence. That's inspiring somebody to come in and shoot up a school or something, when it's not. These Glock, Smith and Wesson, Sig Sauer, name any firearm company, they're a business, and they're there to provide a service and profit from that service, just like any other business. But if I went in, if somebody wore, just just to pull a something from the other side of the political spectrum, that say it's a Love Wins shirt, and it's got a rainbow underneath it, that's completely fine. If I if I sent my kid to school with a Black Lives Matter shirt, that is completely fine. And I'm not saying that Black Lives Matter is not fine, and I'm not saying that Love Wins not fine. What I'm saying is that to that school, one's fine and one's not. And when children are getting that message at such an early age, that message is going to stick with them. If you go back and look at any tyrannical figure, whether it's Stalin or Hitler or or Mao, Chavez, Castro down the line, they all subscribe to the portion of the Communist Manifesto that basically says you need to get state control of the educational system, and you need to mold these minds into how to think, not or what to think, not how to think. Excuse me. That's the purpose. And we'll teach them math, and we'll teach them how to write, and maybe some science along the way, but they are going to we're not going to have them do any critical thinking exercises or anything like that. We are going to tell them exactly what they need to do and what they need to know. And if you're not going to follow along, if you're not going to get in line, then you will be ostracized. You will be looked down upon. You will be shamed. And that's what that mentality does with dissidents. You either get in line, you get along, or you go along, or get out. That's just kind of how it is. But just kind of getting back to the series here, it's very instrumental that children be indoctrinated, because children that are indoctrinated, that grow up to be voters, and then vote a certain way. And I am not a fan of Black Lives Matter, and it's not because I don't think Black Lives Matter. It's because that the people in charge of Black Lives Matter, if you can go look them up, they're unabashed Marxists. They will tell you that they are Marxists, and they basically use the people that are in the streets these days as useful idiots to transition our society from what it is now, which is basically rule of law, not as a free society as it used to be, but still to this day, by and large, we still have freedom today, but that's what they want to go away. They want to have complete power. They want to have not just over what you do, but what you think and how you express yourself. But if you don't follow along with that mantra, they will call you all kinds of names. They will call you a racist. They will call you a Nazi. They will call you whatever it is that they think will make you afraid to counter what they're trying to do. And the more people that they can indoctrinate to that type of thinking, the harder it is going to be to fight back, for the freedom in the world. So there were only, like I said, 160 of these released. And I was watching a video the other day, because that essentially means that there were only 160 possible full collections of these. And I'm fortunate enough to be one of those people that have this collection. What they used to do with these series, they would always make a proof, and they would always make a Brilliant Uncirculated. So this is the Brilliant Uncirculated version. There's actually 1,400 of these, so 1,300 were released, and it's the exact same, just as a Brilliant Uncirculated and not the Proof Strike. This one came out in 2016, a year later. And maybe a sidebar here, a distinguishing feature from the, I think up through 2017, these Silver Shield rounds appear to be like bullets around the side of them here. I want to say in 2013 this was the Silver Shield Silver Bullet, or Silver Bullet Silver Shield was the actual name, and then the partner that Chris Duane was involved with got into some unethical behavior, and basically Chris Duane cut ties with him. I want to say his name was Rob Gray. You can go look that up as well if you're interested. But that's one way you can kind of tell some of the older to the contemporary designs here. And then this is the Trivium design, and I'll maybe go into the Trivium girls in a later video. But that's the BU one. And then just this year in 2020, before kind of the pandemic shut everything down, they started releasing a new series, and instead of the reverse proof, this is just the full proof. So exactly same design, but just as you can see, the reverse proof, the figure teacher is the one that's got the proof finish, and then on the newer one from this year is full background proof. And there's, this, I want to say there were definitely more. I want to say maybe around 700. Actually, this one there might have been one of the most popular, because what had happened was as these older ones caught on, just for this coin or this round would, if you just wanted to buy this one, it's probably going to run you a few $100s. The next one that shows up in this series, I'll kind of point out, but that one went for $1,000 on its own. So these are, in demand, and they're hard to find. So obviously the price is going to go up. This, I tend to like this more than the reverse proof. I think this is just cleaner. So if you're going to, just on its looks, which one's my favorite, it's going to be this one from this year. And I paid, I don't know, $50 for this one. And already these are going for well over $100 on eBay. And I expect that as time goes on, these will maybe not get to the level of the older series here, just because they are, more available. But this one you can see 2020, and then you can kind of see the fire around the outside, as opposed to the bullets that were around. But these all come with a certificate of authenticity, and just kind of in a box that kind of looks like this. You kind of see I got 137 of the 260, but like I said, just the first 100 aren't released. And got Chris Duane's signature there, and it looks like even these are fading a little bit. The newer COAs do not kind of fade. I think they may have changed how they do this kind of stuff over the years. And then listen to all, follow none is the mentality of the Silver Shield. So, there's going to be more to follow. There's, I think, 14 designs. I think there's a couple that are versions 1, version 2, so probably I'll make 12 videos on this series. And I might have to wait, because not all of these have been released yet. They are on the second to the last mintage of these, so these probably won't be fully released until around the end of the year, maybe early December, because it generally takes about 6 weeks for them to arrive once you place the order in. So I don't know, I'm just really super excited to have this collection. This is something that I've been wanting to get a hold of for quite a while, and just knowing that there's only 160 of these available, and I'm fortunate enough to have one of them. It's it's a good feeling. So let me know your thoughts if you guys have any I don't know, experiences or with the indoctrination of the public school system or the private school system or any school system, because it's it's not just the public schools. There are private schools, religious institutions, and even charter schools that probably indoctrinate to some level or another. And I think it may be even really difficult to not get to that level. But I hope the intent for any educator out there, above all, is to teach children or students how to think and not what to think. And whether that means you have to bring in opposing viewpoints or opposing people, and point out the validity of each side of the argument, because there are valid points that the Marxists have. I'm not going to say that 100% of what they say is erroneous, and not all of it is. I would say 93, 94 5+% of it is, but that does leave 5-6% of a valid point, and that needs to be respected, and that needs to be discussed. And even if I don't agree with what their points of view are, I'm going to respect those points of view, because and if they're coming from a point of honesty, like I respect Bernie Sanders way more than I respect somebody like Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, because I know, even though I don't agree with Bernie Sanders, I know what he's saying is honest, and it comes from some place that's real. And while I may never vote for somebody like that, I can always respect somebody like that. So, again, if you have any comments, let me know. Hope you enjoyed this, and hope everybody's doing well. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.